Okay, now we're recording. Good. All right. So hit that button and it says share to home screen. You can just share it and then it'll pop up on your phone screen, and it just is a W. It's a blue W. It looks like this when you're done. Looks like this. This W right there. That's what it should look like. So that is super handy to just touch that, and it brings you right to the WordPress site. So, all right. Okay. So what I wanted to do before we even get into any of that stuff is, if you were at the last training, at the quarterly training, I feel like more and more I'm super big into why are we even here? Like, why are we even, like, not on the planet? I mean, not gonna that deep, but like, why are we here tonight? Why did you take the time to be on the phone? Or why are you taking the time to listen to this recording if you're listening to it recorded? And so I wanted to be kind of on the spot about it. And so I want to pick somebody to kind of, I'm going to pick on somebody and ask them some questions. I'm gonna pick on Hannah just because I feel a little more comfortable doing that with you.
How did I know you were gonna pick on me?
I know. You have ESPN. Okay, I'm gonna you start to say that. Okay, so Hannah.
Yes.
Why are you calling in right now?
I'm calling in right now because I'm stuck in Minneapolis, but I really wanted to be part of this training.
Okay, why did you want to be a part of it?
Because every time I plug in, I am so glad I did. Because every time that I have thought about, I don't know if I can make it, I don't know, is it really worth it? Every time I plug in, whether it's to this, to physically being there, or an audio, it inspires me to keep building because it's not just about me. Okay. I get to change somebody else's life.
And why is that important?
Because we're not here for our own benefit. We have been given a gift, quite frankly, that's how I feel about it, to impact others, and people are desperate for it, whether we know it or not.
So what would happen if you weren't here or weren't doing that? What would happen then?
I wouldn't be, from my personal philosophy, I would.
Nope. Looks like she. What's that? Fades off into nowhere. Okay, well, while we're getting her back, I'm going to pick on Miranda then. Why are you here, Miranda?
Did you say tonight?
Yeah, tonight. Here. Come over here. Bear with me, guys. It's worth it. I promise.
Let me just hug a seat here. Did you say tonight, though?
Yeah. Like, why did you come to this training? You live in Delano.
I know. The roads were horrible.
Why did you come to this training?
I think, like Hannah said, every time you plug in, you just get reinvigorated, and it's that motivation to do more and be more. And I think when you've been in this a while, you realize it's like not about you. It's about who you can help, and yeah. So I'm here to help other people too.
But then what happens when you do that?
Then you start talking to people. You start getting an activity.
Then what happens for you?
My business grows, and that changes what my life looks like, and that kind of goes back to why you're doing this in the first place.
Because then what happens when your business grows?
Then I'm able to give back. You know, that helps our family and with the goals that I have. You know, for my husband to work less, and for us to be there for our kids more and enjoy that family time and take trips and all that.
And then what?
Well, great question, Lisa.
I know. Then why? Then what?
Because then I'm able to do that for my team. and help them reach those goals and have that happen and change their lives.
Then what happens then?
And then we're able to give that to other people, you know, and it kind of, the gift goes on.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, and so thinking about tracing that all back to, do I come to a meeting or not? Do I plug into an audio or not? Thinking about that and the bigger picture that it impacts, you know, and I think I've asked that I asked it of myself all the time. I don't always do it, but I am embarrassed to say I do it not nearly as much as I need to. But that idea of the activity, the little activity of, you know, plugging in or making the phone call, going to the meeting, that absolutely, and having it be connected to the end of what you're doing this for, and knowing that they are this connected, even though it's like, well, if I do this and then this, the answer, and then maybe they'll say yes to something, and then we'll have a conversation, and then and but if it is absolutely connected, because if you don't do that thing, this thing never happens. So if you choose, yes.
Oh, I was just going to add that I think that we all search for meaning and fulfillment. We always feel like we're not enough. What's our purpose? You know, like when you feel really fulfilled, you feel really content, really happy. And what Miranda was just saying, you kept saying it, and why, because then it'll help somebody else, which will ultimately help me, and then I can have these. But I think ultimately it's just that you get this sense of purpose and this sense of fulfilling that purpose,
right,
that we're all here for. And I think what you're alluding to, that's the threat.
Totally.
I think.
Totally. So, and again, just won't belabor it anymore. I do have a cool audio to listen to that's Les Brown, but I feel like if we know why we're here, taking these notes and doing all this, if we know why we're doing it, we're going to probably walk away with it and actually do something with it. Versus, you know, being a shower-upper and writing a bunch of notes and then having it sit in your bag. Because I do that a lot, unless I know why I'm doing it. You know, because there's something else we could be doing, but we're here, or we're listening, or we're whatevering. And so knowing why you're doing that, I think we all absolutely owe it to ourselves to figure that out. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. So I'm super glad that you are here to then think about why you're here. So I'm going to play this Les Brown. This is from it's the Quote of the Day show by Sean Croxton, and it's a podcast that I listen to, and it's like between 5 and 10 minutes every day. But the speakers he has on, it's and they're not on, they're just like a clip of an audio, and it's always like this is Les Brown, or it's Jim Rohn, or it's Tony Robbins, or it's Bob Proctor, or I mean, it's just amazing, amazing people. And so this one happens to be Les Brown, and I think it really kind of taps into what we're doing. And then I promise we'll get into like nuts and bolts and things you can write down. You can write down this stuff too, but system things. Okay, so we are settling for less than what we deserve. Let me know if you can hear this. Hannah, give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
What we're going to talk about now is simply some keys to self-motivation. And all of us have motivation of some sort. I define motivation as the desire to achieve that which you believe to be worthwhile. And many people go through life never getting in touch with their greatness because of the lack of motivation to push themselves, or because they have not found something that they believe to be worthwhile to challenge them. I heard a poem once that said, many a flower has bloomed unceasingly and wasted sweetness upon the cold desert air. It's translated, that means simply that many a talented persons have gone unnoticed, and the world never had a chance to be exposed to their talent because that person did not take the time to begin to express or to demonstrate or to motivate themselves in the direction to bring that which they came into the universe to bring. How can you measure your motivation? How can you evaluate where you are on a scale of 1 to 10? Let's do this for ourselves mentally. How do you rate yourself from 1 to 10? Your mental attitude about yourself, how you feel about you, how you feel about life. How do you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of your physical appearance, in terms of your health? Do you take care of yourself? Are you allowing yourself to get overweight and out of shape? Are you conscious of your health? Are you watching the food that you take into your body? Do you make a deliberate effort to exercise? You know, it was George Burns. He said, we cannot help getting older, but we don't have to get old. And many of us get old before our time because we don't take time to take care of ourselves. Your environment is a very good indicator. On a scale of 1 to 10, is it what you want it to be? Do you find it desirable? Are you satisfied? The job or career that you're involved in. Someone said that 85% of the American public are unhappy with their jobs. Are you spending 8 hours a day just doing time? Doing something that you don't find challenging, that does not make you stretch mentally, that does not stimulate you, that does not inspire you. Something that you don't find a sense of fulfillment in it. If you're doing that day in and day out, it has to affect how you feel about yourself, your level of motivation. Your relationships. What kind of impact is it having on your life? Is it nourishing or is it a toxic relationship? Does it drain you or does it build you up? Ask yourself that. How motivated are you to do something about it? Your contribution, your actions. What are you giving? Many people will leave the universe without a trace. No one will know they were here. And in fact, under their name, we could put under there, not used up. Will anybody know that you came this way? What contribution are you giving? What will you leave? What will be different because you came this way? Someone once said that life is our gift to us, that God has given us, and how we live our lives is our gift to God. What kind of gift are you formulating? Is this a gift that you like to take back and do something else before you turn it in? Think about that. What can we do? What are some of the keys that we can begin to use to motivate ourselves when our batteries run low? Because I don't care who you are, I don't care what you do, at some time you are going to get tired. And sometime you're going to get in a rut. Seem like nothing you do works out right. And sometimes it just seems like you just don't have the wherewithal or the will to do anything. That sometimes you act like you're punch drunk. You're just wading through, like just doing time day in and day out, looking at non-discriminatory television, anything that's on, just looking. And depressed, feeling powerless, feeling useless, and bored. What do? How do you get yourself out of a rut? How do you, when you know you can do more than what you've been doing and you're not doing it and you're discontent with where you are, you get angry at yourself. How do you get out of that rut? How do you motivate yourself? One of the things that we must do is that we must be involved in working on achieving self-mastery. You must work on yourself continuously. Never be satisfied with yourself. Always know that as you invest the effort and time on you, that's the greatest ability that human beings have above animals. See, a dog can't be anything but a dog. Tree can't be anything but a tree. Human being, you've got unlimited potential. You can put effort on you, and by concentrating on you and developing you, you can transform your life wherever you are right now. So you want to work on yourself. You want to read books that inspire you and motivate you. You want to listen to tapes over and over and over again. And I suggest that you listen to tapes when you first get up in the morning. You want to control the spirit of your day. When you first wake up in the morning, your mind is operating at 10.5 wave cycles per second. That's when the subconscious mind is most impressionable. Whatever you hear in the first 20 minutes when you wake up, that will affect the spirit of your day. When you listen to tapes, listen with relaxed belief. Believing that this can happen for you. And by listening to them, listen to them over and over and over again, and you will get a breakthrough. You can listen to the same tape for months, and all of a sudden, you hear something you never heard before. It have a special meaning for you. Or read the same book over again, and you find some special insight. You said, I can't believe I didn't see that the first time. So you want to be involved in developing yourself. Most people won't do that. Most people won't take that kind of effort and invest that kind of energy in themselves because they will fall prey to that conversation within. Oh, don't do that. You don't have time. You're too busy. You're too caught up in the rat race. Most people won't do that. Well, they won't take time to go to lectures. They won't take time to go to seminars. They won't take time to go to classes to improve themselves. And as you continue to work on yourself, you will begin to expand your vision of yourself. You begin to work towards self-mastery. And you will begin to see it reflect itself in all the dimensions of your life, your mental life, your physical life, your social life, in your relationships, your monetary life. So concentrate on developing yourself. Because if you don't, I guarantee you that you will make a settlement. And most people have. And most of us already have. What kind of settlement have you made with your life? You know, when we make settlements, out of court settlements, you've heard of them? That means that you decided to take something less than what you originally wanted to get had you gone into court. And the reason that you settled outside of court is because you didn't believe that you can get it. So you made an out-of-court settlement. Many of us are making in-life settlement. We're settling for less than what we actually deserve. We don't feel good about it, but we make it work in our minds. We come up with some kind of excuse to make it all right. What kind of settlement have you made with your life? Many of us settle for less than what we want out of relationships because we don't have the courage to change them. I had a seminar I used to do called Are You Living Together or Dying Together? Many people are just dying together. Gladys Knight used to have a song that says, neither one of us want to be the first to say goodbye.
Okay, so that was, sorry, it was kind of long, but just so good. So that's that show too. It's the quote of the day, but it made so much sense with this, that knowing there's just so much. There's so much that we can do, and this is such an amazing opportunity that we've been given. And so, don't settle. Just don't do it. So, okay, we're gonna segue into some nuts and bolts. And so the system, and really, you know, kind of just going over kind of what it is, and the two sheets, kind of focusing on are the getting organized sheet, and this is again on the WordPress site. It's an amazing like nugget of, there's just so much on there. It looks like this, and I want to say it's like right when you go to the website, it's right on the front page. It's getting organized. It's one of the first things to do. So look at what's in there, and it's just, I mean, I tell you, if you're a new person, I would venture to guess that 80% of the questions, just kind of general questions, are on this. Things like, you know, when are the monthly meetings, or, you know, kind of trying to find out when those are, what to bring to a one-on-one, and we've got those, group events, what to bring for those, just a ton of information. So, so why have a system? Why do we have a system? Why is it important to follow it? So we have a system so that this isn't a job. We have a system so that this can be easily duplicated and leveraged. And I think having it clear of what our system is, knowing how to do it. Sure, we need to know why to do it. We also need to know how. And I don't know about you, but if I don't know how to do something, I'm going to be less inclined to do it. Then I'm going to not want to do it. I'm going to just kind of under the radar, not. If I don't know, it can be a perceived stumbling block, you know. And I think for a while, you know, I wasn't feeling like I don't know what I would do to get someone started. You know, I was like, gosh, I don't know. I mean, now we have just this amazing, concise getting started packet that's totally amazing. Not that that's an excuse, but it was a stumbling block for me, that it wasn't clear, or I didn't, you know, try to make it clear for me. And so it trickled down into the act of picking up the phone to ask somebody to meet, because I was like, but what if they say yes? And then what if they get started? And I don't know how to get them started. So I'm just going to not pick up the phone, you know? And so I think about that with being clear on what our system is. It just makes it so much more seamless for us to just go about this simple business. So And that, again, duplication. So it starts immediately, good and bad, system and non-system, it all duplicates. So, and it builds confidence. I think having that system in place builds confidence. And then teaching it. It's so much easier for you to teach it if you know what it is. So it's definitely, it's the system that we have is on our WordPress site. And again, the biggest part of our system is just essentially sharing Arbonne and finding the fit. I mean, like, that's the global system. But within our team, the 2 sheets to focus on, the getting organized and then the prospecting sheet. And it's really, it's those four steps. I have to get it on my phone because I forgot it at home, but thankfully I've got my little blue icon. I can just go right to it. So it's under the prospecting, under the tab of the Changing Lives Nation site. It's 5 is to sign them up, but it's inviting people to meet. So that's calling somebody up saying, I think you all know what that is. I'm super excited about something I'm doing. I'd love to share it with you. Do you have some time this week to sit down and have coffee? So it's the inviting to meet. Sending them something in the meantime, like, great, I can do Tuesday. I'm going to send you a quick audio or a quick video to listen to before we meet that will give you a little more information. Perfect. Then holding that appointment. And there can be 2 things. If you're super new on this one, you always have somebody with you. You always have your upline with you because you're learning, and it's so valuable having that third party there. And so I really, really think until you've got a couple solid, business builders working the business and you've done this a few times, always, doesn't matter how long you've been in the business, I don't think that's necessarily a sign that you got it. I think it's how's your team doing? Is it working to not have a third party there? Typically it isn't. And so I think until you can be there and learn, it's like anything else, any job. Would you start your job and just not have, not have someone training you in? And so having that is so important. And it can be, that third party doesn't necessarily always have to be someone sitting at a coffee appointment with you. I mean, I think that's the ideal because then it's able to be interactive. But third party validation can be having them watch a recorded Discover Arbonne or coming to a Discover Arbonne. I mean, I think having third party in there though somewhere is absolutely part of our system. So, and sometimes it's easy to talk about more like what's not our system than I think that it can be more of like, oh, okay, that's not. Because I think when you get down to what our system actually is, there's a lot of vulnerability in there. It's a lot of vulnerability with asking someone to take a look at this, talking about what it is, telling them why you're doing it, asking an upline who you might not know very well to come and join you at this meeting. I mean, there's all kinds of things in there that can be like, oh, I don't know, I feel really awkward or that feels difficult. And so then we do something else that seems easier, but it's not as effective. I think then we're like, well, I'll just go by myself, or, oh, well, maybe we won't talk about it, or, oh, I'll just say I'm going to give this a shot, and I'm not going to really tell them what my goals are, or what my dreams are, because then that seems weird, and I think, but then people miss out. They're missing out on what this really, really is if we choose to kind of not do the system and leave things out that make us uncomfortable. And so I think when that happens, because it does happen, it happens all the time. It doesn't matter what your title is or how long you've been doing this, it's going to happen. Depending on what's going on in your life at the time, you're going to feel more confident or less confident at certain points in time. But recognizing that and like, oh gosh, I'm realizing that I totally didn't. The other day I was at yoga and the studio owner, she's amazing. And there's shampoo in the showers that are these big, it's the Alba or whatever, organic from, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we should totally have our balancing, our tea tree, that she should have these in here. I'm like, I should talk to her. I should sit down and say, hey, I'd love to share what I do, and da, da, da. I had a million opportunities to do it. I didn't do it. And it was like, okay, why didn't that happen? Why didn't I do that? And that's when I get to go, okay, what's going on? What's lacking that I didn't take that opportunity? And so, but you don't know unless, you kind of get to that point of like, I know my system right now is to ask her to sit down and talk about this over tea or over coffee. and I didn't do it. So what's in the way? Because the rest of it can't happen if that asking doesn't happen. So hopefully I'm making sense and I'm not talking circular here. That idea of knowing what the system is, if you know what it is and how simple it is, you can also identify then when you're not doing it. And then you can get some help with like, okay, what do I need to do to get back into that simple system? Because it, really is at the worst case is then when you are being vulnerable and you are asking those questions, someone can say no, or someone can say not now. But that saves you a whole lot of time and a whole lot of thinking and a whole lot of everything if you just can sort from that, because you put it out there and then you could just go to the next person on your list. But I think if we don't have that, then we get stuck at that top person on the list. And so, so really, that's a huge part of it is knowing what it is so you can identify when you're not doing it so you can get some help with kind of getting back in it.
Also, I think that a lot of times I know for me at least, if you haven't done that, then you think, okay, well, I didn't really talk to this person about it, but they think they know about it.
Right.
Versus like you said, like, oh, you should try these products or whatever, but you've never really given them the whole background and gone through the whole system, that they think they already know about Arbonne. When you haven't really given them the full story.
Right. Did you guys hear that? No? Okay. What Miranda's saying, and it's so true, because if we don't go through that official, like I ask to sit down, we think we did. We're like, well, I mentioned it when we were on a walk, and they think that they know what we do. When they don't, they totally don't. And so, but you can be rest assured if you went through those steps, of asking them to meet, sitting down, going over it is Arbonne for you or the everyday Arbonne, having them sample products, and getting to that next step, then they know. Then they know at least a lot more than, oh, I do this, this thing, and not that anybody says that, but so they think they know what Arbonne is. And I think we all have stories of that, of someone who really didn't know. So get to that last. So having that one-on-one, and then having that third party. And so the third party could be, so with the two-part system of, sitting down, giving them the product, or that could be a drop-off, dropping off the product, and then sitting down with them. So either you do a 2 meeting or a drop-off in a meeting. And I would say at that second meeting, if you don't have, somebody want to let Hannah in? If you don't have, yeah. Again, if you're fairly new, absolutely. And if you're feeling like, oh gosh, my upline would so relate with this person, that's when that third party would come in. And then it says the last one is to sign them up, which, yeah, why wouldn't we expect that? But if we don't sign them up at that meeting, it's a then what? It's a next step. I think always having that, what's my next step? Whether it's, it's really not for me right now. Okay, no problem. How about if I follow up with you in a month? Or, gosh, I'd love more information. Great, there's a Discover Arbonne coming up. Or, I love these products, but I'm not sure about the business. No problem. Let's have you get started on some products and then hosting an event. Or just what is the next step? I think sometimes we and we're going to talk a little bit about closing too, that's also a closing. A closing in a sense of like closing that meeting to what is the next step. But I think that's really important to let them know that there always is a next step. What's the next exposure that we can give people? Because I heard there was an audio that's kind of like about dating, that you don't meet somebody and then like, oh yeah, let's get married. That you have to kind of date, you kind of have to get to know them or whatever. And so that's the same thing with this is like, what's the next exposure to just get a little more information, but always offering that to people. I think, that's a biggie. We have so many ways of offering the next step. It can be a recorded call, it can be a DA, it can be product, it can be a meeting with somebody else. So it's awesome that we have all those different ways of doing that. And I would love if somebody has questions or things that they're bumping up against, or things that have worked really well for them, by all means, pipe in and share with the group. That would be, because you guys are all doing this too, and so there's so much knowledge on this call right now. Not that you have to, but. Okay, all right, everybody's got it. Awesome. Okay, so so kind of moving from that to the closing piece, because that was another one. And I picked these topics really just kind of fielding what are people needing right now, like what do people and there's a lot of new people. It was just so awesome. I swear it's like every other day on the Changing Lives site is welcome to new. So I mean, I love that. And it's so great then I think to have a refresher on what are the nuts and bolts, you know. And so absolutely, if you are not feeling like I don't quite know what the system is, or get with your sponsor and just go over like what does it look like. You know, what does the system look like? Oh, before moving on to closing, we have, because I think, you know, really getting solid on what do we physically give people? What do we physically hand out? We've done this at a couple of their trainings too, but I know that there's so many new people and just having a refresher. So what I've got is, so this is so this is the one that you mail out. So this is the little mailer. And I can post the clear bags, the number for these little clear bags. They seal in the back. They're awesome. But it's basically, it's a protein sample. And this is all on that getting organized sheet. A protein sample, an RE9 sample, a Fizz, a Genius sample, the instructions for the Genius, an everyday Arbonne, the nutrition essentials, and then an Ion Arbonne that you think would resonate with them. So if you're meeting with a stay-at-home mom, maybe a stay-at-home mom, or if you're meeting with an attorney Ion Arbonne. And you can search the Ion Arbonnes. And you can also add that to your home screen, the shortcut for the Ion Arbonne search. So this is the one that you would mail out. But this is also the one that you can bring with you along with the full-size kit. If it's someone you don't really know, or it's kind of a cold market and you're kind of like, they're not really sure if they're going to be able to get back with you, you might not want to hand them your whole kit. But so these are really awesome, and make these up in advance. Have these ready to go. You're just going to have one in your purse. You're going to be so much more inclined to talk about the business or ask somebody if they want to hear more about what you do if you're prepared. Luck favors the prepared. So there's that one. And then this is just the same thing, but it's just the gold bag. So same thing, gold bag, but all the same information, all the same stuff. So that's it. Like those are the two things. I mean, aside from, if somebody requests an ABC sample, or somebody requests, conditioner sample, but when you're meeting with someone, when you're going through those 4 steps on that sheet, this is the product that you should have on hand. Or if you're asking someone remotely, I'd love to share what I do. Would you mind if I mail you some things to try? That's what you mail out. That's what's in there. So, and again, I'll post, because it's clearbags.com, but there's probably 14,000 different clear bags on that site. And so it's handy to have a little, to have the number and the actual label so you can take a look at that. Okay, so closing. So this is super important because when you think about, and I'll probably just focus mainly on groups, like closing at a group. They're super fun, but they're work. I mean, they are. Groups are, it's energy. It's energy, it's preparation, it's, they're super, super fun. And my guess is the main goal for most people when they do a group is to walk out of there with some bookings, with some volume, and with some PCs and some potential business partners, right? So I don't know that anybody's just doing it for their health. Not that I know of. I mean, taking time away from their family, working after a job. We've got not so much an expectation. Sometimes we might have an expectation, but there's a reason. There's a reason we're doing these groups, and it's usually related to growing your business, volume. And a big part of that comes down to the questions we ask and kind of how we close it out. And so I know it can feel really frustrating to have group after group and feel like, oh my gosh, there was a lipstick, or a nothing, or no book. And so there's so much audio out there too that's so great about closing and how to really, and Donna does such a nice job with setting up the close from the beginning. Starting with the close, letting people know from the beginning how to be a part of Arbonne so they can be thinking about it. And this is all from the 3 Ways to Win. So, or from the core presentation cards. So really taking a look at that and watching her video, and she says she wants to open with the close so that people know what those options are to start with, and that there is going to be a close. So many times people are waiting for guidance from us at what to do at an event, and if we don't guide them on how to become a part of Arbonne, they're not going to know. And so that's that piece where we need to be vulnerable, and we need to check our own belief and our own whatever about being forward with people. Like, you know, one of the ones, and this is Jerry Rosenthal, when he says, I find that people usually fall into one of 3 categories at one of these events. They either, they totally get this, they want extra stream of income, and they want to join my business. Or I find that they want to shop at a deep discount and become a preferred client, or I find that they want to host it and get some great host rewards. So as you're listening tonight, you know, I'd love to help you find your fit in one of those. So that way it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to fall in one of those 3. You've already set it up so that it's not at the end. And then when you're getting closer to that close, really remind them again that those are those 3 ways to be a part of Arbonne, and that you are going to be at a close area. So, and scope that out ahead of time. Have it be between them and the door is a good idea, so that it's not, you know, I'll be in that back room over there so you can sneak on out. But have it be, you know, pretty close to the exit so you can hear too. So if there's questions, you know, if people are, I had a group last night, and there were a couple ladies talking about some different things, and I was able to kind of interject here and there of like, oh, it sounds like you're not sure if you want to do an order together or an order separately. Here's the you know, pros and cons of that, and that, you know, it's only one preferred client, you only get one free gift. So just having it be close enough that you can kind of hear what's going on, so you can help guide them. But having it be, I mean, that's like a business seat that you're setting the stage of like your business person when you've got kind of your closing area. And then letting, and people, they're going to see one person do it, one person come over to your close and know that that's the thing. Like people want guidance on what to do at these events. And so that's why recommending those ASVPs, recommending sitting down and finding a fit, recommending, or asking, have you ever thought of doing something like this? Asking every single person that question. You'd be so surprised at the answer you might get. So, and perceived obstacles. Are there any, like, what if people found either in this room or on the phone, like, what are some perceived obstacles that with closing, with, you know, either walking out with, you know, bookings or PCs or one-on-ones, appointments. If people want to leave right away, Miranda's saying if people want to leave right away. For sure. And so with that, with the, I need to go, often saying ahead of time, like, you know, that if there's anybody who needs to go right away, I'd be happy to help them first. So kind of setting it up like, does anybody need to go right away? I want to make sure that, you know, I catch you and help you out before you have to go. Then, and what time do you have to go by? So kind of like putting that out there first, then you know that they have to go. And if it's you know, I just need to go or whatever, making sure you have their information. You know, if they just take a catalog, is your number on here? Yep. Wait, I'd love to grab your information. I would love to follow up and see how the skincare worked out, see how your skin feels the next day. You know, just letting them know that you would like to follow up with them. And so does that make sense? And it isn't always, I mean, it might be somebody who, that's kind of their way of like, I don't want to do anything. And that's fine too. But maybe it legitimately, like, I need to go. Case in point, at Hannah's event, there was a guest there. She had to go probably in the first 20 minutes, Melissa. And sorry, Melissa, but yep, throwing you out. She needed to go. And I was like, oh, dang it. Like, I really liked her. She's like, but I've got, like, you know, and I don't know if I had her information even. I think I might. Because I knew Hannah, so I got it from Hannah. And then I called her, and she was like, yeah, you know, I've been looking through, and I love this, and I wish I would have stayed, and I want to hear more about the business. Oh, okay. Now she's on Hannah's team, and it's awesome. But I'm just saying, so it's like, you know, you never know. It could be like, I want to get out of here, or dang it, I really have to go. How can I follow up with you? So, you know, making sure you assume they really want to follow up.
I think oftentimes when you put the story that they're not
Yes.
interested, and that's why they're leaving.
Mhm.
Could be they came while their kid was at Bible school or dance, and this was the time they had, and they have to leave.
Right.
And they really wouldn't leave if they didn't have to. And so you're right. I think that is a good point. The other thing was the closing is like, it's no different than, is it J.C. Penney's or Herberger's or some department store where it's not clear where you can check out. So you're wandering with your items. And you're like, could I just pay for these?
Yeah.
And so having a close area is like having a cash register. Here's
That's a great.
Here's where you're bringing your purchases.
Yep. Totally.
It's the same thing, and it's good customer service. It's identifying if you are wanting to purchase, here's where you go.
Yeah, I love that. So everybody heard that about what Patty said, that basically having your close area is like having a checkout, like having a cash register. That's where people go. Because most people, they come to an event because they're somewhat interested in buying the product. So it's like, okay, what do I do? But honestly, I really think if we equip them with the process of it in the beginning, like how do I be a fit with this? And then right at the end of the presentation, you give them an order form. You give them a preferred client sheet with the ASVPs, and you give them a catalog and a pen. Like, here you go, because I think sometimes it's like, I don't know. I mean, this is just me too. I think certain days or certain times throughout my business, it's kind of been like, here's an order form in case you maybe sort of want to buy something, and it's like, nope, here's your order form, because this is how you do it. And it's just like posturing's huge with this too, and knowing what we have, knowing what these products are, knowing what this business is, and just giving yourself a good pep talk before going into that event, that this is a gift to them. So So starting with the close, posturing, and then people more often than not, they want to be guided by us at an event. So, and then following up. I mean, I think the close too, it doesn't have to just be closed on that day. Following up, if there are people who were there and just checking it, hey, we're going to be closing out Sally Smith's event on, Friday. It was great meeting with you. I'd love to get you started on a few things. And so, and just really helping that host. And something I'll do too, and this may be a little bit too obnoxious, but as orders are kind of coming in at an event, if you're wanting to have a booking, of course you're wanting to have a booking. To help you get that booking, I'll often say, gosh, so far, Tony, like, this is how crazy our host was. Our Tony already has $500 or $250 of product for $50, free shipping, and a free gift already. Like, that, isn't that crazy? It's just making our wish list over here. Who else wants that? And I think, because I think sometimes people have hosted before and it's been a ton of work and they've gotten like one half price item or nothing. And so I think that letting them know, like, legitimately, like, what does this actually look like to have these host rewards can be incenting, because that is, we know that when people try the product and look in the catalog, they're like, oh my gosh, and then, oh my gosh, there's cosmetics too. Oh my gosh, and so giving them a way to like, oh, so I could order this tonight, but then I could earn a bunch more later. Awesome. Okay. I think the other thing too is when people want to host, that hearing them say, well, I'm going to wait till I host to get this. Really, really letting them know that, you know what, that's fine if you want to do that. What I've found to be really successful is when you get into the product now, because then when you're inviting people, you're using it because they want to know what you like about it. They want to know what you're using. You're going to have a much better turnout at your event if you're already using some of the product, because you're going to be able to speak to it. So, kind of planting it that way. And then you don't have to wait for your product either. You can get it in 4 days. So, does that make sense? Does that feel like pertinent?
I would second that statement. Encouraging them to get their product. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns a light bulb.
Right.
Oh. And then they get more people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically just
they get excited.
You just take a second and state the obvious that the consultant isn't using all of these products. It's embarrassing. So, what do you think about your shampoo? Well, I use blah, blah, blah. And that happens. So it's sort of like they have to be using those things.
Okay. So what Patty's saying is for us to check our own cosmetics bags and to check our own showers. Are we using what? Practice what we preach. Are we using Arbonne products? You know, are we using, because I'll tell you, I have a little story too. The NARS, it's a this little fat like blush whatever, and it's like the best color ever. I've loved it for a million years. And then when Andrea was like, you got to do the taffeta. If you see the taffeta, it looks like what?
Yeah,
yes, at best. And I'm like, okay, I'll trust Andrea because she's beautiful and she knows what she's talking about. It's amazing. Like, I think that's the thing too, you guys. If there's something that you're holding on to and you haven't tried our version or whatever, like, do it. Because it's just, chances are 10 times out of 10 is going to be better than what you're currently using. Plus, it's your business. Like, what are you doing? Like, don't use anything else. It's ridiculous. So yes, practice what you preach, or Debbie Neal will come check in your shower. Yeah, you can't sell what you don't use. No one wants to be a hypocrite, and people will ask you because they want to know what you're using, and to be able to say, you know, this is, and they're going to know if you like fake it and say, oh, I really love the, you know, Pure Vibrance, and you're not using it. Like, that's just lying. Lying's not. And yes, yeah, totally. So, does anybody have an, and you want, what do you want your team to do? You know, what do you want your team to do? So duplicating that too. You're going to want your team to Arbonize. So yeah. So if I come to your house, I'm going to look in your medicine cabinet. Does anybody have any questions on that before we move into Miranda's going to talk a little bit about plugging in and the importance of that and how to keep doing that?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So it's kind of with closing a little bit. So today, I went to the store and I got clipboards and a whole bunch of pens.
Nice.
Because I noticed when I was doing my closing, and I have some forms, but it just is like then not enough pens, and people are like, oh, what do I write on? And so I'm going to have like clipboards with just, you know, the preferred client, all those forms ready to go with a pen for everybody at the start. Now, do you usually use customer care forms? Because I've not used them yet, and I just wanted to know, you know, do people feel obligated, you know, to put their information on there, or have you found it really helpful?
I would say yes, to use them. They can be really helpful for people. Sometimes are more willing to write down on a piece of paper something than tell you. And so, and it's a really good tool for following up, that you have information of things that they like. And people, you can hand it to them. Some people might fill it out, some people might not, but just encouraging that this is how you can give them the best service.
I think it's part of that posturing too.
Yeah, posturing, saying Miranda.
To me, what I usually say is like, you know, this is, you know, fill us out to the level that you feel comfortable with.
Oh, I like that.
Usually say.
Miranda says, fill it out to the level you feel comfortable with.
Because then if they do, you know, a lot of people do, like, feel more comfortable checking, like, at the beginning, usually have them on their before.
Yeah.
Like maybe they have a weight issue and they don't really want to talk about it with their friends. But they'll put it on a piece of paper. So then when they come to the checkout, you can ask, you know, just mention the 30 or whatever.
Yes. So basically she's saying that, again, like, that there might be things that they don't really want to shout out in the middle of a group, but they really do. Maybe they didn't know we had it, or, you know, they're going to be more inclined to do that. So yes, use them. And at the beginning, you know, this is a great form for you to fill out to the level you're comfortable, so that I can provide the best service as your consultant. So.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I think having it be all together, just right there it is. Yep, all in the clipboard. So, and you can you can have the catalog after it's done, because some people, I've had it either way, where you hand out the catalog and then you can just basically tell people, don't open that, or I'll shame you. Yeah, don't do it. Or you can just hand it out at the end, because people are just going to want to look through it. I know if I'm handed a catalog at an event, I'll look through it. So yeah, and you check out, you don't get to hear. And I think, you know, just do the catalog after, but the rest of it can be on the clipboard. Great question. Yes, Lisa's got a question. What's up?
So I have a bunch of I still don't own that a bunch, like maybe 15 or so of the old catalogs.
Yeah.
And it kind of drives me crazy. I feel like I should be away with those and get some new ones
Yeah.
because it doesn't have the Ultra in it, for one, and then I hate not having prices in the book. So what do you think?
You answered your question.
I people think about that. Okay.
Recyclables and recyclables.
Yeah, new
I
ones.
ordered like
I did
a
that.
few last
I
night,
just
so
dumped them.
I think
Yeah.
thank you.
I have a hard time with that too.
Yeah.
Dang it. Just made a point of getting those out of my hands.
Maybe these
Or
ones will
sometimes
stick.
if I've done like when we did like a vendor show or something, I'll bring those ones. Because I feel like a lot of times you hand a lot more of them, and those people don't necessarily.
Sure.
Right. I mean.
I
Makes sense.
always realize that, things outdate or whatever, and just do
It
it.
is what it is.
I clear it out and I get what I know is gonna serve me the best.
Right.
Even though, and people are making cute bags and, origami birds, I'm like, okay, thank you, I need that. It's just gonna recycle and I'm really good with it. And I just dump them and I move on.
Thank you.
Done. Yes. There goes, that's a lot of space in your shelf.
Right.
I know.
All done.
And then you feel better, because you're right, it's a complete cut-off.
Okay.
So, another question.
Yes.
Because I somewhere read or heard never give out anything that doesn't have your name on it.
Yeah.
And so I like your little sticker
Yeah.
on here. So
Arbonne Boutique.
Oh, that's a new one then. Because I've never seen that one.
I like
Really?
that.
Really?
It's like 2 years old.
Well, I went looking
I like
about 3 months ago, I couldn't find it.
Oh, that's where I got them. So, and I haven't. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, you get like 400 of them. So I haven't made that order.
I'll go look.
Yeah. Stay on my card.
Under the business aids, there's like the separate Arbonne Boutique where you can print
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
Or business cards and all that stuff.
Well, I
It's on
wanted
there.
the labels because my website's incorrect.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't, I thought.
Awesome.
Well, Anne gifted her sister-in-law one year,
Oh, Lord, yeah. I
who
can remember.
re-gifted, and she gets a random call from somebody somewhere in the United States wanting more of whatever. Yep, because she had a label on there.
She ordered a couple of times and told outside the world, but hey, you know
But
what?
she still.
She ordered,
yeah,
she ordered.
Somebody who did not know.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
Can you mail this? Like, you put this in the mail sometimes?
Well, yeah, I put it in a, like a manila,
Yeah, like a bigger.
envelope. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for pointing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a bubble.
Yep.
Okay.
Just a little. Yep. With a thank you card usually. So.
They're very professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
And when you have them like ready to go too, like
Yes.
it seriously is like a game changer.
Having them ready to go is what we're saying. Having those little packs ready to go.
Stuff
So
going
you just
together.
make up like 10 or 15 of them, stick them, with your business things, and you're good to go. And then as you get down, you make some more. But you're right. Otherwise, you are.
Oh, gosh.
Just one of those things like once a month, like at the beginning of your month.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you just go through your presentation supplies, your samples and all that stuff, and you get it ready. So you always know at the first of the month, like, or whatever day of the month, just pick one, put it on your calendar and take 10 minutes and make sure all your supplies are ready for the month.
So Debbie Neal has or not Debbie Neal, she probably does too, but Donna Johnson has a really good call, Getting Organized.
Right.
It's probably, I don't know, you have to archive, it's in the archives.
SoundCloud?
On a SoundCloud, yeah, it's Getting Organized, and she's basically talking about how to make, like, the importance of doing all of that.
Mhm.
So,
Because the day that you're not and you're scrambling, you've got an appointment in 10 minutes, you're print your gems.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
or it's
Yeah.
everything.
well, it's just that whole, like, subliminally, if you don't have your stuff ready to go, it's probably subconsciously rather, you're going to be that much less likely to schedule activity. You know
Well,
what I'm
and
saying?
if you do, you're like, please don't join, please don't say you want to do this, because you're freaked out.
Yeah.
You're not ready.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, you're
What
ready.
did you say? Something favors the prepared?
Luck favors the prepared.
Yes, that's good.
That was from Edna from The Incredibles. Luck favors the prepared, darling.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. That's true. Good old Pixar. Okay, Edna. Edna, darling. Okay, so Miranda's gonna come on up and talk about plugging in. It's so funny. I mean, it's like, well, the people who are learning about plugging in are already plugged in. Yay! Give yourselves a high five. So,
You're fine.
How about Miranda?
yeah, Miranda came from Delano.
Oh
No.
my gosh. This is like pointed at my boobs.
What's that?
It's pointed at my boobs.
Oh.
Give him a show.
This is not a flattering angle. I think Lisa's taller than I am.
Just much more so.
Just a little bit. just your torso's taller.
Just many hairs.
All right, hello. I'm so glad you guys are on. It's so fun to see everybody. Okay, so I'm going to talk real quickly about our about plugging in, and am I talking about our 2500?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the other part of our system too. So, but real quick, I want to tell you a funny story. So, yesterday we had a bunch of people over to our house for my son's birthday, and afterwards I went to use the bathroom and there was no toilet paper in there. And I'm like, oh, that must have been, in my mind, I don't know why this went through my head, but I'm like, oh, that must have been a kid that ran out of toilet paper and like didn't come tell somebody or go get extra toilet paper, because kids think in their head that someone else is going to do it for me. And I was thinking, because adults, we're like, well, nobody else is going to do this. I got to go, you know, like I'm going to go tell Miranda, or I'm going to go do it myself. And so I want you to think about your business like that. Like nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody's going to build your business for you. Nobody's going to make those calls or do the activity that you need to do to make this happen. So I just thought that was a funny, it like popped into my head and I was like, I got to share this because don't be a kid, be an adult and take charge. And then when it comes to plugging in, I've been in the business for, it'll be 6 years in February, which is ridiculous. It's crazy how fast that time has gone. And the times that I have felt kind of in a funk with my business, or things aren't going how I want to go, or, you know, you just haven't done anything and then you just keep not doing anything and you kind of go in this downward spiral. A lot of it comes from either I haven't been doing my reading and my listening, or I haven't been like attending things. And it's crazy how much that every kind of slow period I look at in my business, it comes from that. So I can't stress enough the importance of plugging in. And you guys are on Zoom are obviously already there. And the people that are here, and we're recording so we can listen to it later. But I really cannot stress that enough, because so much of this business is your mindset. And the things that are going to build your mindset are exactly those things we were talking about. It's attending meetings, it's attending trainings, it's reading and listening, and doing those things every day. And it's like the slight edge. You know, there are things that are super easy not to do, because if you get busy or an activity comes up, or you've got a kid that's got something happening, super easy not to do. But that is what is going to separate you from, you know, making this happen and making it not happen. And I think the biggest thing too is like leaders show up. You know, leaders come. You know, if you're going to be a VP at the top of this business, you show up. You would be there. You know, so treat it like that all the time. I'm just gonna, 1 second. Got a little window up there. Okay. Got to like jump to get into the stool. I'm gonna take a running jump to the stool. So plugging in, what does that look like? So on that awesome Getting Organized document that Lisa talked about that's on the website, it lists a lot of these events. So it's plugging into the Facebook pages, our nation pages, our local group, so you know when the next things are happening. It's attending those trainings. If you have not signed up yet for GTC and you're brand new, ask your sponsor and go do it right now, if you still can. Because I think it's about to sell out if it hasn't already. Oh, it did. Sorry. Okay, overflow. So, but any of our trainings that we have coming up, make sure you're there. You know, nothing is technically mandatory in this business because it's your business, but I would say that those are mandatory. Like, you know, you're going to have to miss some things, but it's totally worth it. I've never, ever attended a training or a meeting. I think you said that too, Hannah, or plugged into something that I said, oh, well, that was a huge waste of time. Never, ever. That has never happened in the 6 years I've done this business. I've always been glad. I've always come away with something, and it's always like recharged me to like go out and get into activity. So what other, you know, like the Facebook pages I said, what else? I think on our, on the website, on our Getting Started documents, it lists some of the other, you know, like Donna Johnson has the Go for Gold calls on SoundCloud, so plugging into those, joining that. And doing, you know, your daily reading and listening is so huge too. So, and again, like that's going to make or break your business totally, you guys. If there's incentives, you know, looking at that and just figuring out how you can go for that, even if you don't earn it, it's just growing your business. So all of those things just plugging in. And then the other thing I'm going to talk about is in our system, kind of like our monthly plan, but it's more of like a visual representation. And that's our new and you volume. So this is on the website. What did I write down here? I can't remember which portion of the website on. Will you look it up and let me know?
Yes.
The bubble thing?
Sure will.
Stay tuned. I'll let you know where to find it. But it's our monthly plan. Looks like this. I think it's called 2,500 New and You on the website.
It's under Get Organized.
It's under Get Organized.
Get into activity.
Get into activity.
And then
And it's the 2,500 New and You. So the cool thing about this is just how this shows you how quickly things can build and grow and the importance of duplication. And so we base our system kind of on a $2,500 building block, and that is called our new and you volume. So that is your new activity basically. So that's your new preferred clients, your own personal purchases, and any reorders from your preferred clients. So that's what that 2,500 is based off of. And the beauty of this is that you can see where that duplication starts to happen. So if you're doing your 2,500, and what this diagram is based on is you're doing your 2,500 and adding one new consultant every month. And if you do that consistently and you're helping then those team members find their new consultants, how quickly that can build, and that's where that, you know, multiplication starts to happen. So check that out on the website. I mean, it starts with like in month 1, you doing your 2,500 and your new person doing their 2,500. So there's 5,000 right there. And it goes through 6 months. And at 6 months, your bubble chart goes from 2 of you to this huge, crazy, bonkers organization, which I think is just such a great.
Can you say where you found it again?
Yeah.
she made it.
Or no, under Getting Organized. Did you say?
It's under Getting Organized. And
Sorry, they asked where this was. So if you go on the website, it's under Getting Organized.
And then you can go down that sheet.
Get Organized?
Get Organized. And then under Get Into Activity.
So, sorry, where to find this document is on the website under Getting Organized. And then you scroll down to Getting Into Activity.
Yeah.
And it's called the 2,500 New and You.
Oh, yes.
Okay, go for it.
You guys good with that?
So I'm gonna say one thing. Yeah, too. Okay, so with this sheet, basically what this is when we're meeting with people, and on that Everyday Armon, when it says what the income levels are and how long to get there, this is it. Like when they're like, wait, I don't, but how does that happen? This is how that happens. And so it's that the explanation of how this business works in terms of making those numbers happen. So
cool. Anybody have questions on that? Good. Thank you.
okay. So okay, does anybody have any other questions about anything that we talked about tonight? Or golden nuggets or anything? No. Okay. Well, then I think that concludes our training.
Can I just say?
Oh, yeah.
It's not a question.
Patty's got something.
It's more of a just like a kind of like come up with like things that I want to focus on monthly.
Oh yeah.
So in Changing Lives, we recognize a $2,500 brick. So if you've been in the business for a while, the brick is achievable and generally by the 15th of the month without any effort. So that's awesome that we can put that on there. If you're newer, there's some effort. The 2,500 you and new, that's effort no matter where you are in your business because it's you and it's new business month after month. So that to me is a more important goal. So of course I do my brick, but I'm focused on that 2,500 you and new because it makes me generate new business. And then I'm really focusing on the 5 new preferred clients and 1 consultant, and because I have a district, bonusing my district. And so I'm encouraging people that are on my team and my success line to think about adding those pieces too. Like, it's great to say I want to be an area, I want to be a region, I want to be this, I want to be that, but this is, in my opinion, how you get there. You just start with these basics, and that this is such a cool sheet. This that shows you that power of geometric progression, application. So this was a great training. I loved the conversations around mindset, and then the tactical things. So if you're not in the habit of making goals, think about just these as your goals, not even the title, because I think that scares people for a volume, but just like, can I do 2,500 UMU this month? Can I shoot for 5 new PCs? This can be for a brand new consultant, but if you're already district, then if you do that, can I get to kind of bonus? So you start to just build on that, and then that is kind of where you build that confidence and that belief that you can do this. So I just thought I'd share that. I think there's so much value in that 2,500 UMU. We have never really spent a whole lot of time on it. It's so interesting that I finally like clicked for me, and then Arbonne is talking about it too. I'm like, oh, I'm just like lined up with them.
There you go.
So
Start that way.
this was an awesome training, you guys. Really love
Yes,
Can I add one thing too, just on, as newer consultants, building that volume and building that belief, that plugging in builds your confidence before you've seen it for yourself. And it helps you realize that other people have been in your shoes, and other people are trying to figure it out and have figured it out, and they're living proof that it actually works. So as a newer consultant, building a fantastic team, keep plugging in, because it really does, whether it's audio or Zooming or any of these things, it helps you build that belief.
And reading INR ones.
Reading INR ones, all of those different things, that builds your confidence. And then you can go into every encounter with confidence.
So important to know what you're doing. So important. I agree with that. That's a good point.
Yeah, chicken or the egg. I think too, to know if it kind of, if you're, I don't, this is weird. I don't mean up here. Okay, so so kind of like the take home. There's an arrow in the head. The take homes. I think get familiar with the WordPress site, absolutely, but don't spend a ton of time. Do it like, in the morning and in the evening, so that you know where to get stuff and just be really efficient with that. But then from there, to really take a look at, okay, what are my goals? What can change? What would make a change in my life? Like, what if it's a dollar amount? What would that dollar amount be? And then get with your sponsor, set some goals to put it into action, because there's absolutely a way to do it. It's just breaking it down, no matter what that goal is. It's okay. So breaking it down into activity, monthly, weekly, daily, break it down, and then just go for it. Do it before you feel like you are confident to do it. There was another quote that Zig Ziglar almost played this one. It was, anything worth doing is worth doing poorly until you know how to do it well. So you can't wait until you've got it to do it. You have to do it, and just know that it's not going to be great, but it's not going to be great unless you do it. So do it. Because we're all going to Mexico in Octubre. So, all right. Peace out. And thank you so much for tuning in. And this will be recorded and posted sometime within the next 24 hours is my challenge out to the universe. Okay. Bye-bye.
That was really good.